Good Monday lunchtime. No, it's not Monday. Wednesday. Goodness. Good Wednesday lunchtime. Um, I was recently reading or listening um, to a writing by a guy named Paul. And he said that soon he was going to set this tent aside, speaking of his body and moving on from here. And, goodness gracious sakes alive. Maybe I'm the only one who gets caught up in this. Sometimes I forget that this is not my forever home. We've got things we need to do. You've got responsibilities. I'm not saying avoid those, but we need the mindset to know that our eternal home is not here. And we invest in things and emotionally like this is forever. But it is not. And so anyway, I came up with this. I need my singers. I need those who harmonize. I need somebody to do some echoes in this and some clappers. I'm not even going to play guitar. I'm going to attempt to clap to this a little bit, or I thought about shaking my vitamin C some. But anyway, sing along. Give this a try. I think it's called Moving On. I haven't decided yet. Here we go. I soon will set that tent aside, moving on to glory. I went to the river and I got baptized, moving on to glory. Can't wait to see his face, moving on to glory. We'll be with this long, hard race, moving on to glory. Moving on, moving on, moving on to glory. I said, moving on, moving on, moving on to glory. You get there before I do. Moving on to glory. Tell my mama I love you. Moving on to glory. Listening for the trumpet sound. Moving on to glory. Then my feet will leave this ground. Moving on to glory. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on to glory. Well, moving on, moving on, moving on, moving on, moving on to glory. I've drunk the vinegar, I've drunk the wine. Moving on to glory with a laugh, with a sigh. Moving on to glory. I sometimes forget this is not my home. Moving on to glory. The next one's not made with wood or stone. Moving on to glory. I said I'm moving on. Moving on. Moving on to glory. Yeah, yeah. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on to glory. And I sometimes feel the rushing wind. Moving on to glory. Ooh, a welcome witness of the home within. Moving on to glory. There's a loading station at the cross. Moving on to glory. He wants all to be saved and none to be lost. Yeah. Moving on to glory. I said I'm moving on. Moving on. Moving on to glory. Yeah, yeah. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on to glory. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on to glory. I'm moving on. Moving on. Moving on to glory. Thank you, my friends. I hope you sung along with that. Maybe that's a blessing. It was a surprise to me. So anyway, have a great day, and I will see you around like a donut hole. My dad always said that.